Is dental insurance the same as health insurance? No. Maybe that's a good thing. Health insurance is kind of an even worse mess. We won't go there. Is dental insurance even insurance? Kinda, but not really. It's more of a discount program with lots of hidden exceptions in the fine print. Let's look at the internet's definition of insurance. Insurance is a guarantee of compensation for specified loss, damage, illness, or death. Hopefully you're not dying at dental appointments. In return for payment of a premium, a thing providing protection against a possible eventuality. Okay, so when you get insurance of any kind, you would want to know a few things. What is being guaranteed? What am I protected against? If X thing goes wrong, what is my compensation? Is the compensation I get worth it considering the premium I'm paying each month or year? Is the money you're paying your insurance company coming back to you when you need it? Here's why dental insurance is particularly goofy. The annual maximum compensation for dental insurance is very low. That's different from health insurance. If you get in a car crash, you are responsible for your annual deductible, and then your health insurance covers the cost above that threshold. So you break your arms and legs in the car wreck, and you pay the hospital the first $8,000 or so, right? Whatever your deductible is. And then insurance covers the next $50,000 to heal your body back to normal. Or at least that's how it used to be. Now there's this thing called co-insurance that got made up where you keep paying a portion of the next $50,000 because as a society, we've made a lot of poor decisions over the years that are collectively bankrupting our health and well-being. Sorry, that's an entirely different video. So health insurance, you cover the initial costs up to a specified limit, and then the insurance covers everything after that. Kinda, sorta. How does dental insurance work differently? Well, with dental insurance, you only get coverage for the first $1,000, maybe $1,500 you spend at a dental office in a given year. You know, at the very top end, maybe you get $2,000 of dental benefits in a year, but that's less common. Also, with dental insurance, you're pretty much always in a co-insurance situation. Like you still pay a portion of all of the work being done. You don't get 100% coverage on most dental procedures. You are sharing the cost of any significant dental work with the insurance company when you have that work done. Again, that's why I don't even really like calling dental insurance insurance, because if you have something really devastating happen to your mouth, dental insurance barely helps. It doesn't really do much. You get in that same car wreck and you slam your teeth into the steering wheel, jack up your front teeth. Your dental discount will pay enough to maybe fix one of them. Like you'll be paying, I'm sorry, I'm laughing, that's mean. You'll be paying the next $3,000 or $6,000 or $10,000 to fix the others, right? It kind of depends on what's necessary to fix them and what level of dentist you want to see to have the work done. Dental insurance discount thingies are also goofy because these maximum benefits haven't increased much since these plans were introduced back in the 1970s. You know, back then, your annual maximum was about $1,000. $1,000 in 1970 is the equivalent of almost $7,000 today when accounting for inflation. So dental benefits haven't kept up with inflation at all, except for when it comes to premiums. You better believe you're still paying more to the insurance company for your annual premiums. Your benefits just haven't increased by a similar percentage over time because life is unfair. Why pay for dental insurance then? Like, what good is it if it only covers such limited coverage, right? Is it really worth it? So several reasons people still get dental insurance. One, dental insurance typically covers dental cleanings at 100%. So you go in for your dental cleaning and you feel great because the receptionist tells you, hey, you don't owe anything for your cleaning today. Yay, it was free. That feels cool. I like free things. Free is fun, except it wasn't free. You already paid for it by paying the dental insurance company. And the dental insurance company took a portion of the money you paid them and paid the dental office. So actually, your cleaning cost more than it otherwise would because you paid a third party to then pay the provider of the service, and the third party took a cut. For what reason? I don't know. It would be like if you bought haircut insurance, right? And you paid your haircut insurer, and then they paid your barber or hairstylist a portion of that money to actually cut your hair, right? This runs counter to the definition of insurance. Insurance is for stuff that might happen, right? You pay a third party just in case a bad thing happens. They only pay you if something unpredictable occurs, right? That's why insurance works. Only a portion of the people paying into the insurance pool ever need to take their money back out because bad things aren't happening to people all of the time, right? That's good that bad things aren't happening constantly, right? You pay into the insurance pool just in case a bad thing happens to you, but you hope that it doesn't, right? If you know you're going to be getting your teeth cleaned regularly or your hair cut on a set schedule, you don't need insurance for that, right? You don't need to pool your resources together with a large group of people in order to protect yourself against the risk of possibly needing a haircut in the future. So anyway, you may not notice that you're inflating the cost of the service and making it more expensive for you because all you hear is the receptionist telling you that you don't owe the dentist any money today, but unfortunately, you are inflating the cost of this service for yourself. Okay, so 2, what other reasons do people have dental insurance? What else does dental insurance do for you? Why do people have this? Well, insurance does help counteract the oligopoly power of dentists. Huh? What do I mean by that? Well, it's really hard to become a dentist in America. There are a limited number of schools with a limited number of spots. Lots of reasons for that. It's expensive and difficult to train dentists. It's not easy to get enough patients into dental schools to be able to appropriately train dental students on enough procedures before they graduate. I won't get too sidetracked, but the bottom line is getting a dental license in America is really difficult and time-consuming and expensive. The result of that is that there are only so many dentists providing dental services. When you have a limited supply of people providing a service, the cost goes up. When demand for the service goes up, the cost goes up even higher. If a lot of people want something and only a few people can provide that thing gets expensive. So how does dental insurance help people with this? Well, dental insurance contracts restrict what dentists can charge for procedures. If a dentist agrees to a dental insurance contract, they accept a lower level of compensation for all of their services. These discounts can range anywhere from 20 to 40%, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's a pretty typical range. So if a dentist would normally charge $1,000 for a procedure, they may be contracted with an insurance company that makes that procedure only cost $800 or $600. A procedure that would normally be $200 may only cost $160 or $120. And then typically, the dental insurance company will cover a portion of that procedure and a patient will cover the other portion. So the insurance may pay $300 of the procedure and then the patient is responsible for paying the other $300. Why would dentists sign up for insurance contracts that cut their pay like this? What's in it for them? Well, if you can work fast enough and you can see 2 patients and do 2 dental procedures, one for $800 and one for $600, as opposed to 1 dental procedure for $1,000, that's $1,400 instead of $1,000. So if you can manage to see a higher volume of patients, it can make sense to take the discount. It's the same reason businesses use discount services like Groupon. Having a higher volume of customers at a lower rate may be beneficial if you can handle that higher volume. And so we get a stratification of dental offices. There are dental offices that see very high volumes of patients because they take very steep discounts. Some of these offices actually double book patients because lots of times patients don't show up, for their appointments. And if a patient doesn't show up, the dental office can lose money for that day, right? A lot of times these businesses are operating on very thin margins that require a busy, full schedule all of the time. So, businesses won't run for very long if they lose money. So they book 2 patients in every appointment slot. And if everyone shows up, that means long wait times. You can go to the other end of the spectrum with what is called fee-for-service dentistry. These are dental practices that don't accept insurance at all. They set their prices based on what it takes to run their business. So everything is based on cost to that individual dentist, their staff, and their business. Patients will pay higher fees, but they will also generally get more individualized care, more time spent with them, have higher quality materials used in restoring and replacing teeth. Every dental insurance contract that a dentist signs is going to affect the business to varying degrees based on the discounting that happens, right? Dentists have to make decisions based on their skill set and preferences, what levels of discounting make sense for their business, and then patients can make decisions about what type of dentist fits their particular needs. I'm trying not to be too harsh and say that, one model of dental office and insurance is better than any other, because I do very much think that there is a place in the healthcare marketplace for a variety of dental services of varying qualities and costs. Some patients don't care about top of the line dental care. They're just like, why are you even talking to me about this? Dentistry isn't a priority for them. They shouldn't be forced to pay exorbitant fees for dental care if they don't want to. They should have an option of basic, dental care and nothing more if that's what they want. And patients who want top of the line dental care should be able to purchase it if they want to. They shouldn't be artificially restricted to getting cheaper services in an environment that can't cater to their particular needs and desires as a patient. That's kind of the whole point of free markets, right? Open access for providers of services and purchasers of services to bargain with each other about what is fair to exchange. Now, I already mentioned that dentistry isn't exactly a free market because of how difficult it is to get a dental license in America. This does cap the supply side of the market and inflate cost for patients. The argument for why is that you need to properly license dentists so that they are appropriately skilled in providing care. Without a license to prove competence, it would be difficult for the public to discern if the work a dentist was doing was clinically acceptable and competent, right? That's the argument for inflating the cost. You're getting a higher quality service that meets a baseline of competence. Although I would argue that when I graduated from dental school, I was pretty close to being incompetent at my job. But that's a whole different story. I passed all my board exams, no problem, graduated with honors. They claimed I knew what I was doing. So, okay, if you say so. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the stratification of dental care here, to try to help you decide what type of dental office might be best for you at this point in your life. The lowest cost option is going to be some kind of Medicaid-based dental insurance, right? If you qualify for Medicaid dental insurance through the government, this will be very low cost care. It's not going to cost you much of anything. You'll be able to get your teeth cleaned. You can get dental fillings placed. However, the fillings may be done with lower quality materials in order to keep costs low. A lot of times, the reimbursement from Medicaid doesn't allow for, the most advanced dental filling materials to be used in these offices. But, a filling is better than no filling at all. It's better than a cavity. If you have a toothache, you can get the tooth pulled. But usually you won't have any coverage for bone grafting, which is ideally something you want to be doing when you take a tooth out that you plan on replacing. You can also get a root canal, but typically this will be from a general dentist. On average, general dentists like myself are not as skilled as endodontists when it comes to doing root canals. So if you get a root canal at a Medicaid dental office, it's certainly better than nothing. But, if I was betting money, I would bet that on average it won't be as successful for as long as a root canal by an endodontist would be. It's often difficult to get Medicaid to cover placing crowns on teeth, and they limit the types of crowns that can be placed in ways that are less than ideal. So if you have a root canal or large filling on a tooth, the tooth may be more likely to break and be lost for that reason. But a lot of times Medicaid won't pay for a crown to protect a tooth in that situation, which isn't great. Medicaid usually covers dentures and partial dentures to replace teeth. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of these. Lots of patients don't like them. They're not really anything like real teeth. Don't let anyone convince you that that's the case. They're not as good as real teeth. I have other videos on my channel that can explain all of that to you in more detail if you're interested. Dentures from these offices often have to be made with techniques that don't produce dentures that fit very well. Like making high quality dentures involves a number of steps, and the dentist has to be skilled at doing certain things and spend time doing those things. And the rate at which dentures are reimbursed in Medicaid offices is very low. Most Medicaid dentures I'm aware of end up actually producing a loss for the office. Like they lose money by making the dentures, but they manage to make up for that by billing for pulling out all of the teeth. There might be exceptions to that, but most situations I've been made aware of, that's generally how it goes. The patient gets a cheap denture that may or may not fit that well, and the dentist actually loses money by making it. It's kind of a screwy situation. I'll put a link in the video description to a website that lists Medicaid covered dental services by state. If you're curious about what's covered where you live, you can check that out. And that all may sound very harsh again. None of this is me trying to throw shade at Medicaid dental offices. I actually think that's the hardest job in dentistry. You're facing the most complex patient needs for care, and you're trying to address those needs with the least amount of resources. That is very difficult. Hats off to anyone who is able to do that work and do it well. You're a better dentist than I salute you. It's impressive stuff. But I say all of this because I want people to have a realistic picture of the dental care landscape. Most patients have zero knowledge of any of this. Like, why would you? And no one explains it, but I think it would be helpful, for some people to have it explained. So, if you do have Medicaid dental coverage, I would encourage you to use it. Get in to see a dentist and get everything evaluated as soon as you are able. Have regular checkups to monitor that everything is healthy. With Medicaid, those regular checkups basically cost you nothing, so you may as well take advantage of that. And if you need some basic treatment, some small fillings or something like that, like this can be a great option for you. Medicaid dental can get you by if you have some small dental issues or you need to get out of pain in a hurry. If you were looking to do something like improve your smile, often a Medicaid office isn't going to be ideal for that. There are going to be a lot of restrictions on the types of services available to you that would make that possible. The exception might be dentures. If your teeth all need to come out because they're broken down and non-functional, a denture can definitely be an improvement over that situation. I would still always recommend implant-supported dentures, especially for lower dentures, but Medicaid isn't going to cover, for you to have dental implants. Next up on the dental insurance ladder would be HMO Dental Plans. I do not recommend these unless they are the only option you have. The quality of care is going to be a little on the questionable side, in my opinion. These plans don't reimburse much for dental procedures. That results in a lot of the same problems you see with Medicaid offices. Lower quality materials being used, cheaper dental labs being used, rushing through procedures at an increased clip, longer wait times for appointments. The other thing that happens with HMO plans is there is an incentive to bill for non-covered services. So, they get you in the door by promising free x-rays and a free exam. And then when they plan the treatment, they plan for higher quality stuff that your insurance won't cover. Then they can bill you at a higher rate because your insurance doesn't restrict them anymore. So you thought you were getting something cheaper, but you end up paying more in the end anyway because you get billed for stuff outside your insurance restrictions. And there's not necessarily something wrong with that because they have to recoup the costs of what it takes to provide care. It can just feel like a shadier way for it to happen because they may or may not be upfront with you about those costs, right? Like, this can cause confusion for patients. I'm not saying that happens all the time with these plans, but I've talked to enough dentists to know it definitely happens. There is a built-in incentive in the system for it to happen. A lot of the time there is pressure on dentists from administrators in these offices to treatment plan in this way. The other problem with HMOs I have seen over the years is that there is pressure on dentists to overprescribe treatment. I have seen plenty of patients coming from these offices and telling me that they were told they need all kinds of fillings done on their teeth, and I look at their teeth and everything is basically fine. Like, when the reimbursement level is really low for procedures, there can be an incentive in place to do a high volume of procedures in order to meet the bottom line for the business. That can be a problem, right? Kind of a huge problem, right? We shouldn't be making up treatment needs for patients. It's kind of super unethical, right? Again, I'm not saying this happens all the time, but it definitely happens. My advice, if you get a funny vibe in a dental office, I always recommend getting a second opinion, right? You don't need to rush into making any big healthcare decisions, right? Sometimes you can be in pain and that can make you more likely to do something. Many urgent care dental offices are incentivized to try to get patients to sign up for as much treatment as possible, big treatment plans, while they're in pain, and you're likely to say yes, because you're like, I don't want this to happen again, so just don't make any rash decisions, as much as that is possible. Also, excessive treatment planning can happen in any dental office. I've had patients come from fee-for-service offices and PPO offices with treatment plans that seemed wildly unnecessary to me. So it's not just HMOs that can overdo it. Also, if you want to have more proactive or cosmetic treatment done to improve your dental health, I think that's great. If you have an informed conversation with your dentist and the two of you decide to do some dental work that isn't covered by insurance but will improve your health or smile or confidence, awesome. Dental insurance denies all kinds of beneficial services that I think people should be allowed to have if they want them. Dental insurance is more of a bare minimum plan. These plans get you by. They don't generally improve your dental situation. Insurance doesn't need to be the final word on work you have done, right? You don't have to wait for a disaster and your insurance to kick in to do something if you don't want to. But that should be a transparent and honest conversation between you and your dentist. I've had lots of conversations over the years with patients who felt like they were being bullied or pressured into treatment. I think that's messed up, like I'm not going to mince words about your situation. I'll tell you what's going on in your mouth and I'll be realistic about what would be necessary to keep things healthy or improve the situation if that's what's needed. But I'm not going to shame you into doing anything or try to panic you into making a decision. Like, it's your body, right? You do what you want with it. I think that's how healthcare should work. And I'm certainly not going to make up treatment that isn't necessary. Unfortunately, some businesses are in situations where there is significant financial pressure to do exactly that. That kind of sucks. So yeah, if something feels off, get a second opinion. But if you talk to 2 or 3 dentists and they're all telling you more or less the same things, chances are they aren't making it up. You probably should follow some of that advice at that point. So HMOs, they cover very minimal dental services. I don't really recommend these, but if that's what is in your budget, it can be better than nothing, right? You're at least getting your foot inside a dental office and getting some kind of assessment of your oral health. That counts for something. You still get points. Next up, PPO dental plans. This is the type of dental insurance most people likely have. It's the most common, the sort of middle of the road option. These still heavily discount dental services, but not nearly as much as HMOs or Medicaid. This is the type of plan that typically has that $1,500 yearly maximum. You can get some quality dental work done with a PPO plan, right? It still may not be the absolute top of the line, most aesthetic, gorgeous dental work you can get done at non-insurance offices, but it can still be very good. And in some cases, it can be every bit as good or even better, depending on the dentist, of what you would get at a fee-for-service office. With PPO plans, there are still going to be a number of restrictions on the work you can get done. Insurance companies are always looking for ways to deny claims. They're a business. They like to keep their money the same as any other business. If you think about it, there are only a few ways an insurance company can increase profitability. One, they can raise premiums, make the cost of insurance go up. They do that regularly. 2, they can decrease benefits. They do that all the time as well. Insurance companies love to create hoops to jump through that can allow them to deny services. It's always fun getting those letters. The more hoops, the less they have to cover treatment, the more money they get to keep. And sometimes the hoops can be good. I read a story a little bit ago about a dentist who was purposely damaging teeth and then charging patients for crowns. Last I read, I think he was on his way to jail, which is good. But the reason he got caught is because he had to submit documentation to the insurance companies, and the documentation of the condition of the teeth tipped people off to what he was doing. So sometimes, I'll admit, red tape can be helpful, all right? But I would also argue that by far, most dentists, just like most people, are by and large ethical, decent human beings, And the inefficiencies of much of the red tape we have in place isn't really worth it on balance. We tend to overdo it with the red tape, you know. And yes, there are these sensational stories about crooked people doing terrible things, but then we go and handcuff the entire profession because of one bad apple. I don't know how smart that is, you know. From what I understand, it was actually the dentists who took over the practice from this dentist who tipped people off that he had been doing some shady nonsense. So there are plenty of good dentists out there too. You know, we're not all terrible, you know, just me and that one other guy who was doing that thing. We're the only ones that belong in jail, but don't take out everybody else just because of crooked crooks like myself. Another way to increase profitability would be to sign more people up for your plan, right? If you can sign more people up for your dental insurance, you're going to make more money that way too. The other way dental insurance companies can increase profitability is to cut fixed costs like labor, overhead costs, facilities, infrastructure, and so on. You know, like you've seen those commercials for Esurance, the car insurance place, but you probably don't care about that unless you work at a dental insurance company. So premiums have gone up steadily over time, but as mentioned earlier, the yearly benefits offered by these plans have barely increased. Insurance companies, like any other company, want to improve their profitability year over year. The next most effective way to do this is to find ways to deny dental services as unnecessary. You know, lots of insurances won't cover treatment of teeth that have been missing for a long time. So you can't get a bridge or a dental implant covered if you've been missing the tooth for too long. Not that many dental insurances cover dental implants anyway. Lots of times, if you have a tooth pulled and you want to have a temporary tooth in place before you get your bridge or implant, your dental insurance won't cover that. So you either walk around without a tooth for a while or, you know, you pay for that out of pocket. There's a bunch of little exceptions and quirks like that which make dental care weird and inconvenient when you're dealing with dental insurance. The other thing with dental insurance is that for lots of procedures, you need to submit pre-authorizations to confirm that your insurance will cover the work. So, you know, because there's that paperwork to file and you have to wait to hear back from the insurance company and they can be pretty slow, there can often be waiting periods of several weeks before you would know what your benefits might be with certain types of dental work. So yeah, PPO plans are kind of inconvenient and they can definitely steer patients wrong in some situations, but if you need some basic dental work that isn't too involved, you know, these can definitely be a much better value and result in higher quality work than what you'll get with HMO plans or Medicaid. You know, these can be a reasonable option for lots of patients. Now, this is something that can really confuse patients, but some dentists are out-of-network providers with PPO insurance plans. What does this mean? What's up with that? Why do dentists do this? Basically, this gives dentists more freedom. It makes their lives much easier. When you are an out-of-network PPO provider, the insurance company can no longer tell you what to do, right? If you sign a contract with a PPO dental insurance company as an in-network provider, that insurance company gets to dictate all sorts of things about the way you treat patients, you know, what you're allowed to do. If you and a patient make a decision to do something, the insurance company can deny the claim and say the dentist gets paid $0 for that service being provided, right? The dentist has a limited menu of treatment options to work from with the patient. The dentist is also not allowed to charge anything different from specified lower fees, and that influences the types of materials that can be used and the amount of time that can be spent on a procedure. Like if you and your dentist agree on something different, the insurance company doesn't care what you think, right? That's tough luck. You know, you don't get to make those decisions. So when a dentist is an out-of-network provider, they don't have to listen to any of the insurance company's red tape nonsense, right? You and the dentist make decisions together, and the insurance company just has to deal with it, right? They're the one that has to deal with it. The dentist will bill your insurance. Your insurance may or may not pay the dentist. If they don't pay the dentist, then you have to pay the dentist. But you will have been informed of this up front, right? It won't be a surprise bill, you didn't know about or didn't expect. A lot of time, the way this works is you actually have to pay the dentist up front for the work, and then the insurance company may or may not reimburse you some portion of that fee, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. This is more expensive for you overall, no question. But the benefit is that you and your dentist get to decide what kind of treatment is right for you without any interference from a third party. If you trust your dentist to give you ideal recommendations, this is a great option. If you don't trust your dentist, I don't know, probably find a new dentist, right? That doesn't sound like a good situation. This is just me on my soapbox. I don't think healthcare providers and patients should work together if they don't trust each other, right? Call me crazy, that's just my 2 cents. But like trust and honesty and transparency are critical in any business, right? But definitely in healthcare, right? That's super important. We're touching you, Like I've had plenty of patients who don't trust me. Like it's been obvious, and that's never a good situation, right? If you don't trust me, I would prefer you see someone else. You're kind of making me uncomfortable the way you're staring at me like that. Like this is weird. Like we're not a good fit, and that's okay. It's fine. It's not you, it's me, right? But I think we should see other people. So if you can afford it, seeing an out-of-network provider, I think, is a great option. It's just a lot less of a headache for everyone. It is more expensive. I want to be clear about that. But things run more smoothly. You have more options. The work you get done on average will be of higher quality. After out-of-network PPO dental providers, we also have fee-for-service dentists. This is the type of dentistry that functions like any other business out in the world outside of healthcare, right? You pay for a thing and you get that thing, right? No one intervenes to change the cost of that thing. No one tells you you're not allowed to buy that thing. This, again, is typically, on average, more expensive. But if you're the type of person who is looking to improve your smile, if you want top-of-the-line dental care, if you want to be on the cutting edge, getting the best of the best, this is generally how you're going to get that treatment. These are the dentists who have, 5-star Google reviews out the wazoo. They've got Instagram accounts full of gorgeous smile makeovers and beautiful photography. And you go into the office and somebody's massaging your hands while you're in the dental chair. It feels like a spa. Oh, I'm at the dental spa. These are the dentists, who have taken extensive continuing education courses and have years of experience perfecting their surgical skills. You're going to have a more comfortable experience overall, maybe even borderline pleasant, if you can imagine that. And you're going to get gorgeous results, Can most people afford this? Of course not. Most people can barely afford basic dental care. But these services should still be allowed to exist. If you highly value your smile and dental care, then boom, baby, shoot for the moon, get the good stuff. If you're willing to pay for it, you can have it. It is amazing the things that can be done with dental care these days. Like you can completely change people's smiles. It can be a huge boost to confidence and function. Like that's awesome, right? It's expensive and difficult, but the results speak for themselves, I think it's cool what we can do. So I should also mention that dental offices are often mixed in what insurances they accept, right? They may accept a few PPO insurance plans, but not others. A lot of dental offices use a hybrid model like this, partially in-network, partially out-of-network, a mix of insurance and fee-for-service. It just depends on, how the individual business runs. For these offices, even if they don't accept your particular insurance plan, I would recommend asking them if they have any kind of an in-office dental benefit plan or loyalty plan. What is an in-office dental benefit plan? So this is something that many fee-for-service dental offices have started doing in response to price competition from other PPO insurance-based dental offices. Essentially, this is a dental discount program that functions just at that single dental office. You buy into the program on a yearly basis. That cost is typically pretty similar to what you would pay for dental insurance. In return, your cleanings, exams, x-rays, all that basic stuff is covered at 100% for the year. Then there is usually a discount of 20 to 25% off of any dental treatment you may need. Basically, these offices figured out that the CEOs of dental insurance companies were making millions of dollars each year by skimming a little money off the top of these premiums that don't really provide much in terms of benefits, and they were dictating how dentists were able to work and how much they could charge for services. So dentists said, well, I'm taking the discount. Why not have the patients pay me for the discount, right? Why go through a third party? I'll just set the cost of the discount the same as the insurance company, and I'll collect the fees for the cleanings and the x-rays and the exams directly so that they're not taking a portion of that money. Like, why go through a third party? So this is good. That's a win for patients, right? The competition from PPO dental offices has driven the cost of fee-for-service dentistry down, right? It's helped curb that excessive oligopoly power of greedy, terrible dentists like myself from being able to price gouge patients unfairly, right? That's good for society. We shouldn't be taking advantage of people, right? Again, you want free markets with transparent and honest exchange of goods and services between parties. That's the easiest way we've been able to come up with to set fair prices across time. I'll go ahead and link to another resource in the video description. It's called fairhealthconsumer.org. This is a website that allows you to find out what the average cost for a given dental procedure is in your area. So if it seems like your dental work is expensive and you don't feel like you're getting value from that, you can look up the procedures you need on this website and get a comparison of the quoted price from your dentist with average prices for that procedure at other offices in your area. So again, that website is fairhealthconsumer.org. All right, so when might one of these in-office dental benefit plans be right for you? Well, if you trust your dentist and you don't want any of the headaches of dealing with insurance denials and wait times and restrictions, this is a great option, right? The downside of one of these plans is that it won't travel with you, right? If you break up with your dentist, you decide that they aren't the right one for you anymore, that discount isn't going to go with you to another dental office, right? If you have a PPO insurance, it could be easier to jump ship, wow. It could be easier to jump ship to another in-network provider. Jumping shit, that is interesting. So other than that, I don't really see much of a downside. This will still likely be a little more expensive than PPO insurance, but not drastically, because your yearly max on your PPO benefit is only going to go up to $1,500 anyway. So if you're someone who is looking to have a significant amount of work done and you want it done the best way, I would opt for this, if you can afford it. I would try to go this direction. A couple other things I should mention. I talked about endodontists earlier. Those are specialists who exclusively do root canals. They do some other complex procedures, but it's mostly root canals. There are also oral surgeons who remove teeth and place implants, periodontists who take care of your gums, place a lot of dental implants, orthodontists who straighten teeth. That would be a whole bunch of other videos talking about what dental specialists can do for you. But the point I want to make is patients are often upset that dental specialists don't accept dental insurance. And I get that. That can be upsetting. But they don't need to take dental insurance because they are very good at what they do and the demand for their services is quite high. There are often waiting periods to get in to see a lot of dental specialists, even though they don't take insurance. I mentioned how hard it is to become a dentist in America. It's significantly harder to get into a specialty residency. That's also anywhere from another 2 to 6 years of education, in residency before you ever even start working. So yeah, these services cost more because these specialists are better, most of the time. There's some great general dentists out there, but on average, specialists are specialists for a reason. Try to say specialists a bunch of times in a row. That'll make you sound like specialists. Generally, specialists are specialists for a reason. No, what they do is quite difficult, and they are very good at it. So if you again want top-of-the-line dental care that is going to be completed using ideal techniques and materials, often that will involve combination care with a dental specialist, and they likely won't take your insurance. Some of them take a few plans here and there, but for the most part, it's less common. A lot of patients want to have all of their treatment done at the office that takes their insurance, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But I always tell people, we can do this here, but the results could be better if you saw a specialist. As long as patients have that understanding about what's going on, the risks and benefits. If they want their general dentist to do it, and their general dentist can do it up to a minimum standard of care, that's cool. That's kosher. But yeah, specialists are less likely to take orders from dental insurance companies because they don't have to. The other thing I'll mention is financing options, going into dental debt. This sucks. I wish we weren't in such bad shape that so many people have to do this. I understand that for lots of patients, This is kind of their only option to pay for dental work. I don't like it. It kind of makes my stomach churn a little bit. I know what it's like being in debt. It's not fun. I think the debt burdens we've accumulated as a society are a major problem. There's a lot of bad debt in this country that is weighing us down and stifling innovation and causing all kinds of anxiety problems for people and making life very difficult, much more difficult than it needs to be. If that's your situation, I would recommend checking out Dave Ramsey. I don't agree with a lot of stuff I've heard about his business in general, but I do agree with much of his advice on how to handle your finances. Americans have been trained to take on massive amounts of debt as if it were normal, and that it's just not smart. It's a poor decision in a lot of cases. So before you go deeper into debt to try to pay for dental work, I would spend some time on Dave Ramsey's website, maybe read his book, The Total Money Makeover. I'll link his website in the video description. It's not going to be the right advice for everyone, but I think it is sound advice for lots of people, especially if you struggle with money issues, right? If you don't really understand how to save or invest at all, it's a good place to start, and then you can branch out into more complex advice from there once you have that baseline. I know this has been a long video, but I think it's got some useful info in it. Hopefully you do too. I am definitely biased against dental insurance. You've probably figured that out because I think it makes patients believe that if insurance doesn't cover something, then that wouldn't be the right treatment for them. And I would argue there are countless situations where that is just not the case at all. I think dental insurance steers patients away from ideal treatment, and that's fine. If you don't want ideal treatment, but that can mean you're more likely to have problems with your teeth and gums over time, and you may be more and more dissatisfied with the form and function and look of your teeth. But at the same time, I recognize that these dental discount programs are the right fit for tons of people, most people, honestly. It's what fits most people's budget and preferences. Most people don't value dentistry half as much as I do. They don't even care. I'm trying to give you tools online in terms of dental knowledge so that dentistry doesn't break your budget, right? Most things that insurance covers are 100% preventable with proper health habits and home care. I want to repeat that. Most things that dental insurance is there to protect you against don't have to happen to you. And that's a major reason why I'm putting this YouTube channel together, is to teach people how to take care of their teeth and not have dental problems so that they don't need dental insurance and they don't need to pay dentists for stuff unless they feel like it and want to because they see value in dentistry. But I'm trying to help you get rid of the emergencies that come up constantly for people that cause pain and discomfort and problems dentally, because most of them don't ever have to happen. If you're not busy putting out dental fires in your mouth with your insurance, maybe you'd be able to save up some money for improving your smile. That's my theory anyway. That's what I'm trying to help people with. We'll see what happens. And fee-for-service dentistry has its problems too, I think it's silly how much money some of these offices charge for something as simple as whitening teeth these days. It's not complicated. It doesn't need to be expensive to whiten your teeth. I made another video about how to whiten your teeth. You can check that out if you're curious. So I think it's good that fee-for-service offices have to compete with dental discount insurance-based offices. That competition results in a fairer marketplace for dental patients in the end. And I think that's good. I mentioned earlier how dental benefits from insurance haven't kept up with inflation. The reality is workers' wages haven't kept up with inflation either. In 1989, the average American household made about $51,000, right? Almost $52,000. That's the equivalent of about $112,000 today. But the average American household in 2021 only made about $79,000. So Americans objectively have significantly less money to cover things like dental expenses than they did in the past, right? This is not the 1990s. And the cost of education to become a dentist, or anything else in America for that matter, has skyrocketed, right? In 1989, dental school cost about $8,800 a year. That's about $21,000 today. But today, dental school costs somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 a year. So it has doubled to tripled in cost. And you got to remember that you still have to go to 4 years of undergraduate education before dental school, and undergraduate tuition in 1989 was somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000, which would be about $8,000 to $10,000 a year today, but actually it's more like $20,000 to $40,000 a year. So that has doubled or tripled in cost. So we have patients who have to pay more money to enter the job market, and they make less money than they used to make in that job market, and they get less benefits for the dental discount program they pay for. And then we have dentists who have to pay way more money to get into the job market, so they have way more debt when they start their careers, and they're getting paid a lot less money per procedure, so they have to churn through more procedures to make up for that. That means healthcare gets a little less personal and individualized, less time with each patient, a little more, hustle and bustle and rushing to keep the business running. That also creates a lot of perverse incentives in some of these dental offices, large chain corporate dental offices with administrators pressuring dentists to overtreat patients. It's not great. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. I think it's kind of messed up. I'm not saying I have any of the answers with any of this. It's very complicated, but I hope some people find it helpful in figuring out, what dental health decisions and practices will be most beneficial for them as an individual. I want to put you in the driver's seat, help you take control of your dental care. I'm trying to put together content online to help people limit the likelihood they develop dental problems in the first place, because I realize that there are tons of people, like crazy numbers of people, who simply are not going to be able to afford ideal treatment and care if problems develop. And I also want to, be realistic and accept that not everyone needs or wants ideal care. Sometimes good enough is good enough. And I want to help people discern, what that level of care that's right for them is, All right. I'm certain I have talked enough at this point. If I haven't made you hate me yet, please like, share, subscribe, ask questions in the comments, all the things. I also do stand-up comedy. There's some of that on my channel and wherever you want to click on my channel. And I hope for there to be more of it in the future. Curveball. I tell jokes. So maybe if you hate me as a dentist, you'll like me as a comedian. Or maybe you'll hate me as both. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. It's a free country. Do what you want. Do what makes you feel good. Get outside. Go for a walk. Meditate under a tree. Focus on extending your exhales when you breathe. I'm sure I've induced some anxiety for some people with this video, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it will lead to some positive action to improve your life, some helpful anxiety that will stimulate you to improve your future. That would be nice. If it just causes a panic attack, I am sorry. I did not mean to do that. Okay, I don't really know how to say goodbye to you guys. We've been talking for a long time. I feel like we really got to know each other. I'm terrible with goodbyes, but